have Awan Duka. He is a brand strategist. He's known for his daily inspirational and branding thoughts across various social media platforms. So we are looking forward to meeting Awa today. We also have Vera on our list. Vera is a senior lecturer in the Department of Finance, teaching, and our corporate financial management experience has actually gone far and wide. We have Professor Magnus. Professor Magnus is a chartered environmentalist, and he'll be here today to share his thought with us. We also have Samuel Akini Ajiboyede. He's the CEO of Zido Freight Africa. That's the #1 freight logistic company in Africa. I hope we are all prepared today to learn one or two things. But before we go in proper, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Abiodun Anani, and I'm your host for today's event. I would also want to meet you all. Could you please introduce yourself in the chat box? Kindly mute your speakers. Introduce yourself in the chat section. I want to meet you all as we go into the event. Kindly introduce yourself in the chat box. Hi, Atere Mojisola Iyabode. Welcome to today's conference. Feruza Mohammed, hello, welcome to today's conference. Adiola Toriola, welcome. Christopher, welcome.
Hello.
Mola Oloko, welcome. George Adejugbe, welcome. Impact Synergy, welcome. John Fatomi, Kayowo Guride, welcome. Introduce yourself. Can you introduce yourself? Let's meet each other. Olayinka, Black Women Blockchain, welcome. Oluwatomisin, welcome. Patrick Agundi, welcome. Samuel Ajiboyede, welcome. Theophilus Tunde, Wilson, Wale, Samuel, welcome you. I welcome you all, guys. I welcome you all. Kindly introduce yourself. Let's get to know each other. Let's get to know each other. Introduce yourself. That's nice. I can see you introduce yourself. If you're yet to introduce yourself, kindly do that. Introduce yourself. This is an opportunity to also network and meet other people from various aspects of life. Yes, introduce yourself. That's nice. Prof. Magnus, welcome. Fremzi, welcome. Don, welcome to today's event. Dare, that's nice. Okay, welcome to today's event. Keep introducing yourself. Keep introducing yourself. Keep introducing yourself. Keep introducing yourself.
My name is Dr. Osifo from University of Benin, Nigeria.
Introduce yourself in the chat box. Kindly introduce yourself in the chat box. Don't unmute yourself, please. Just keep dropping the messages. Introduce yourself. I can see you all introduce yourself. That's nice. Keep doing that. Keep doing that. Nobet, welcome. Indigo, welcome. Kolade, welcome. Okay, that's Kolade Ayonride, welcome. Kindly mute your speaker, please. Mute your speaker, please. All right, thank you all for that wonderful introduction. That was awesome. That was really, really awesome. Thank you all for introducing yourself. Thank you for taking your time to introduce yourself. So right about now, I'm going to invite the media advisor for Cityscope Africa Limited to give us the opening remark. His name is John Fatomi.
All right, thank you, Abiodun Anani, the host. Good morning, everyone. My name is John Fatomi, as I'm rightly introduced. I welcome you all to the 2020 African Business Professionals and Entrepreneurs Conference 5. This is a conference that has been organized by Cityscope Africa over the years, and it's a conference that tries to bridge a gap between potential investors, budding entrepreneurs, business professionals from around Africa. Like some of you know already that Cityscope Africa is a Pan-African media platform. We have the commitment to showcase excellence in people of African descent who are doing great things in profoundly transformative ways in Africa. And also, very core to our mandate is to shine the spotlights on beautiful places of interest in Africa for corporate tourism, adventure, and whatnot. So the conference was born out of the need to place Africa's business markets at the front burner to the world, as we rightly know that our business market is still considered very, very small when you compare it to markets, Asian markets, American markets, European markets, etc. So we also understand the fact that now businessmen from all over the world are trying to hire Africa. They are trying to invest in Africa because they consider Africa as a profitable investment destination. So we have to get ourselves prepared, and they say charity begins from home. So the conference aims at building us ahead of preparing us ahead of time for the challenges to come. Specifically, this conference was packaged to, at least, of course, bridge the gap, like I said, and most importantly, to talk about, to proffer solutions to challenges that businessmen face in Africa. A very paramount one is the challenge of financing. As we all know, that SMEs are very key to driving economic growth in any continent of the world, and Africa should not be left out. So we try to organize conferences like this just to proffer solutions and provoke interactions between ourselves, and draw a work plan for us to forge ahead. Because I hold a very strong and convincing belief that the Africa of our dream is possible and achievable. I also understand the fact that Africa is a great place. Africa is not just about big mountains, malaria, corruption, and poverty, as being, showcased by the Western world. So there's need to get ourselves prepared, and forums like this is a way to at least talk about that and channel the right course going forward. I am very positive that this conference is going to be thought-provoking. It's going to be very mind-boggling, and from now we'll get our onions right. So help us God. Thank you very much, and I want to wish all of us a successful deliberation. And I say thank you and welcome to all the speakers and the special guest appearance and everyone here from across Africa, from Ghana, from Uganda, from Rwanda, from Kenya, and even our brothers and sisters beyond the climb of Africa. And once again, I pray that the Africa of our dreams will come to fruition in our lifetime. Africa opens up to a lot of prosperity, shared prosperity, and I want to believe that business is one of the great opportunities to tap from. And if we get our things right in Africa, the world is going to be a very great place for us. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
All right, thank you so much, John Fatomi. That was a great message from John Fatomi. This is a good platform for Africans to showcase what they have in stock for us, and a lot of people have actually moved out of Africa for one reason or the other, So it's a good thing that we have people like John Fatomi who still believe that there are good things that can still come out of Africa. Thank you so much, John Fatomi, the media advisor for Cityscope Africa Limited. So next on our list, I'm going to be inviting the youngest commissioner in Nigeria. That's Honorable His Excellency Seun Fakorede, to give us the goodwill message. All right, so we have to move on now. We'll come back to Honorable Seun Fakorede. So our first speaker for today, who is the person of Mr. Kayowa Ogunride, the country manager for Canon Nigeria and Ghana. He'll be speaking on the topic, rethinking businesses for growth and sustainability in the new normal. So we are excited today to have Kayowa Ogunride to share his thoughts with us on how we can forge ahead in our businesses.
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be here at this August occasion in the month of August. So I just have about 10 minutes. Thank you to everyone who's participating in this today. Thank you to the leadership of Scope Africa. Thank you for John and the entire team. You're doing a very fantastic job. Our prayer and hope your businesses will begin to thrive more and more and will begin to explode even in the years to come. And your impact will be felt across the world, not just limited to Africa, but everywhere in the world. Okay, so I'm going to be talking today on rethinking businesses for growth and sustainability in the new normal. So one of the things I'm sure everybody will have gotten tired of hearing at this point is that word new normal, new normal, new normal. So what's the new normal, and how do you navigate it? So I'm not going to spend time describing the new normal to you because I'm convinced that everyone has an idea of the new normal as it is today. But the question then is, how do you take advantage of it, and how do you position yourself to enjoy the benefits of it, and how do you position yourself to ride the tide? One thing I want to put in some pointers very quickly before I go into the different points I itemized. One thing I want you to understand, and that will inform your mental positioning, your mental decisioning, is that in this crisis, or in this new definition of what normal is, we need to understand that if anything, it would increase the disparity between the haves and the have-nots. So do not be deceived that everyone is experiencing the downside of these issues. Absolutely not. The rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. So there are people who are praying for this not even end, because their lives and their wealth are getting better. So if you're fortunate to find yourself on the side where things are going down, it means that you need to rethink your business, you need to rethink your journey, and find yourself in the side where things are looking up. I'm sure everyone is aware as to what is happening to the likes of Amazon, Microsoft, even their owners. Jeff Bezos has now crossed over $200 billion as his own personal worth, and Mark Zuckerberg is rising fast. Every one of them is doing great. But may I also inform you that that is not a story that is limited only to the US. Even in Nigeria, I have businesses, or I'm in relationship with businesses, or I'm in knowledge of businesses who have achieved their record-breaking successes even this year, who have had their peak in sales revenue this year, not just this year, within the last 3 months. So when you're saying that there is a pandemic and you're saying that there's a new normal, some people are already enjoying it. And I know that your guess would most likely be that that company that is achieving sales revenue is either in agriculture or in medical. I'm sorry to bust your bubble, it's in neither of both. neither of both. For example, one of their key markets is been schools and children. But funny enough, in spite of the fact that children are at home, the revenue is doing well. Why? Because they've been able to rethink their business. I remember speaking to them sometime in February, and I was telling them how they needed to do their scenario planning. One of the things I told them in February, which I never even saw coming, was that do a scenario where everything in the country is shut down. No school, no church, nobody can go to work, no one can go to the factory. Have that scenario and anticipate what you need to do if such situations ever come in. I never knew I was prophesying. Eventually, it ended up happening end of March. But as at that time, it didn't make sense. Nobody saw it coming. As at that time, even US had not locked down. So, but they were able to see ahead and navigate all this terrain, and they are coming out even stronger. So why am I saying all of this? Is to tell you that do not have that mental picture of doom and gloom. And then you have that, you've already engaged in self-defeating posture. So you must also have that mindset that, you know, inside of this chaos, there's an opportunity to thrive. So my responsibility behoves on me to find out how to thrive inside of these challenges. So you need to first have that mental posturing. So when you do that, you begin to exercise your mental capacity in what you call option thinking. Your mind begins to find options in spite of the challenges. It's like when you're pushed to a wall, you can't dig into the wall. Then you need to your head to start processing, how do I break free from these limitations? But immediately you accept it as the norm, then you're already doomed to fail. That's number one. Number two thing I also want to point out to you, it's that this is perhaps in recent times, this is perhaps the only time that recession, let me put it this way, this is perhaps the only time that recession is being predictably predicted. Previously, recession hits us unprepared, unknowingly, it just comes and the economy just tanks on us. But this time, everyone has seen recession coming about 3-4 months ahead. So, if you, my people, permit me, I'm a Yoruba man from Nigeria. They say, Ogu asotele kin bara olabo, kin bara olojiji. Meaning that when a war has been foretold, a cripple, the war cannot meet a cripple unprepared. Because since he knows he can't run as fast as the people that have 2 legs, and they have told him that war is coming in 6 months, he will have started his own journey much earlier before the war lands, because he knows that when the war lands, he can't run as fast as every other person. And it's the same situation we're in. As at March, April, everybody was saying that recession, most likely this will lead to recession, this will lead to recession. So the expectation is, both as individuals and as businesses, steps should have begun to be taken. Plans should have been set in motion to manage the impact of such recession. So those are the 2 things I felt I should put as foundation before even going to any depth. Number one is the fact that do not be deceived. People are thriving in this situation. Number 2 is the fact that we have enough time to plan for the dangers ahead. The GDP of Q2 has just come out, where our economy stands about 5% or 6%, I can't remember the figure from. And they're almost certain of what is going to happen in Q3 too. So no one has an excuse of not knowing what will happen. So the question then is, how do I position my business to take advantage of this situation? Okay, so I listed 4 things. So I just have very few minutes. I think just about 10 minutes. I think I spent about 5 of it already. But I just have few points that I feel you can do in your businesses at this time that can enhance how you do operations. The foundation for this is what I usually tell people. Your success in your business is directly proportional to how well you can think. Anytime I have an opportunity to talk to business people, that's what I usually say. Your success in business is directly proportional to how well you can think. And 2 good heads are always better than 1. So I usually encourage that not only the business leader or the FD or the country manager or whoever it is doing the thinking, but the entire thing comes together and form a think tank and begin to think of how to push your business forward. So the first thing I would encourage you to do in order to position your business for profitability and for growth and for sustainability at this point, the first thing I would always encourage you to do is to revisit your business vision and mission. I know in Nigeria, usually those things are just cliches. You just say them. We don't even know what they. In fact, you can ask 60% of business owners here to recite their own vision. They don't remember. But the truth is one of the reasons why Nigerian businesses don't thrive beyond generations, where you hardly have businesses go from one generation to the other, is because a lot of times our businesses are not built on values. They are built on the desire for money. Unfortunately, that desire is unsustainable. So for you to have a sustainable business, you need to have a vision and mission. And please note that these are vision and mission statements. You need to have vision and mission that is compelling and driving. From there, you can now coin out your statements, and those statements now lead you going ahead. So, first thing is, if you had that vision, go back to that vision. Why is this company in existence? What are we here to do? And I see quite a number of people. One of the other things I see in Nigeria is that people tie their vision statements to their products. Especially because sometimes the product started before the business is. But please, know that your business is way beyond your product. Apple is not Apple because they sell iPhones and iPods. No. Apple's mission is about empowering people to change the world. So irrespective of what they manufacture, that is what their business is. So that's why it was easy for them to pivot from even iPad, everything now into software, iTunes and iCloud. So you must always understand your vision. Go back to why did you start this business? It is not just for making money. And there's this generic answer is for making impact. What impact exactly? So when you go back to that, you can go back to how you started your business and rethink what this business is for. Because in that realization comes the freedom to cut out a lot of unnecessary things. Because you may just end up realizing that you've added a lot of things to yourself that is not part of your core vision. The strength of your core vision is what's going to drive you through this scary situation. That's number one. Number two, what I wrote down here is this: data don't lie. The truth is in the numbers and data. I see businesses making lots of business decisions without accurate data, accurate numbers. I don't care if your business is 5,000 naira worth of business. I don't care if it's 10,000 naira worth of business. The requirement for proper bookkeeping can never be overemphasized. You must have your account in proper shape. If it's a micro business, you do your account. Every revenue going out recorded, every revenue coming in recorded. Thank you. So data don't lie. So the basic data is your financing figures. You must know your figures. You must fall in love with your figures. Inside it, you begin to see a lot of things that you never took cognizance of. As your biggest business begins to grow, the need for data begins to get higher, but there's always a danger there. Because the systems you are put in place when your businesses, because of the systems you are put in place when your businesses were small, as your business grows, those processes will not be adequate for it. So what happens is that you begin to have incorrect data or incorrect numbers, and you begin to make wrong business decisions. So please review your financing system, your financial systems, even as your businesses grow. Then beyond just financial numbers, I just said the basis of data is financials, but beyond that, it's also customer insight, customer data. I see businesses taking lots of decisions without getting data and insight from their customers. They just assume on behalf of their customers. This is what we believe our customers will like. Oh, this customer told me this thing and therefore we are doing it. But that customer is just one person. It may be an outlier. It may be a slow follower. So you need to have, one of the things I expect to be seeing now is a lot of questionnaires, a lot of customer samplings, opinion samplings, such that because things have moved. But the only way you can measure what has moved is in seeing facts and figures, data. So this Q2 and Q3 is giving you enough opportunity to have new data, have new realities, analyze those data, get a data analyst if you must, or subcontract it if you must, but you must make decisions based on data, based on numbers, based on facts. That's number two. Number three is that you must reprofile your market and customers. The market has shifted. Your customers have changed. The purchasing power of your customers have taken a hit. Nigerian Bureau of Statistics released that over 70% of households have had their income dropped, and over 40% have lost their jobs, if I'm correct, based on those spot MBS that they did. So your customer has changed. Their ability to spend has changed. Their priorities have changed. So you must know where you fall into in their new priorities. You must know where you fall into in their new scheme of things. You must know the demographics of your customers. You must understand where the market is. What is the realities of your own market? When I say market, may not necessarily be the whole industry, may be the area you are targeting. So let's say you're targeting youth. What does youth? What does it mean? Youth are spending more money on data now. So how much income or how much? And a lot of youth used to have money to go to school then, but they are told now their parents are not giving them money. So you need to rethink all of those things. And you need to, the only way you can do that is to get data insight, market data, market understanding. And those are the things that can help you make those decisions. So it's not enough that either your business is doing well or not, doesn't really matter. You need to have insight into this, because it's not just about business growth, but it's about sustainability. One of the things I usually tell people is that as business leaders, you are more interested in predictability than profitability. Because even if I'm not going to be profitable, if I know well ahead of time, I will have managed myself. And that's the difference. So I must understand, even if my income is increasing, I must understand the impact of the realities to my increasing income. And say I can maintain it, or I can change something for it to even be better. That's the third. And the last one, like time is up, but let me just show the last one. Reconsider your product offerings. And that's one of the things I said in my first point, which is revisiting your business purpose and mission, your business purpose, your business vision. Is when your vision is not tied to a product, then the desire or the willingness or the freedom to consider other products comes to bear. A lot of us are tied to our business. Oh, I'm a fashion designer. That's the only thing I can do. No, who told you that's the only thing you can do? So you can revisit your product offerings. I have a friend who was into publishing and printing and all sorts. Who is printing now? Who is publishing now? The guy is now into digital publishing and is into online what do you call this thing now? Online provisioning of services. That's what he's doing now. I don't know if all of you have been seeing Too Short. Is that the name? Too Short. There's this sanitizer that is very popular now. It's billboards everywhere. It's Too Short. Guess the company making it? Pepsi. The same guy is making Pepsi and 7-Up. The 7-Up bottling company. They're not making it. They're not tied to their product. They're seeing new ways to do things. They're looking at opportunities that
we have 1 more minute for you.
Thank you, sir. So you need to think through that. They're talking about TikTok in the US now. Microsoft is bidding to buy it. Yesterday, this week, what's the name? What's this? Super hypermarket. Walmart just threw in that they are joining Microsoft to bid for TikTok, and I'm like, what has Walmart got to do with what Walmart is they're saying ShopRite, as in what is that? But everyone is rethinking their businesses and their product offerings, and you should not be scared of doing that. The only thing I can just wish you at this point is the best in your business endeavors. About raising funds, I usually would say before you go to any investor, or permit me to say any for you to raise a loan or equity, I always say explore your networks first. You'll be surprised the treasures that are hidden within your network. Explore your network first. Have good relationships. Explore that network. When you'll be shocked as to how much you can raise within that. Or put your books in shape. Nobody wants to touch a business with a 10-foot pole when their books are not in shape. Thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure to be here, and I do wish you all the best as you continue your day. Thank you and bye.
Thank you so much, Kayowa Oguride. That was an awesome presentation. A lot of takeaways from that section, which is really, really mind-blowing. A lot of things to learn. One of the key takeaways I took was profiling your market and customers. He also said that your mission and vision needs to be compelling. That's really, really awesome. Those are very, very important for business growth. So I would like to take some few questions from you all. Kindly drop your questions in the chat box. Let's take 1 or 2 questions before we move to the next speaker. If you have your questions, kindly drop it in the chat box. Let's take your questions. I know you have some questions for Kayowa Ogurinde. Drop your questions. I'm waiting for your questions. Let's take 1 or 2 questions before we move to the next speaker.
Question.
Oh, there is a question. Okay. Okay, so the first question here is, this question is from Engineer Oyebode. He said, what are the recovery strategies for education, business, and engineering works after COVID-19? What are the recovery strategies for education, business, and engineering works after COVID-19?
Okay, so for me, I always try not to go into specifics. I'm always very reluctant to go into specifics because the realities for everyone is totally different. But if you follow what I've just said, each business has to rethink what they're doing. So for example, in education, while everyone is complaining that the schools are locked, a lot of schools are still working. My children's schools are still working. They're doing a lot of online, and in fact, they just finished their exams for third term. So another school somewhere else is closed, but somebody else is reviewing their businesses. The number of teachers they have now been streamlined to the current realities. Their curriculum has been streamlined. Engineering, I have a friend who is in engineering. Because it's public knowledge, he posted it so I can share it. He just built one of the outlets for Eat and Go, Domino's Pizza and stuff. He just finished building it and it was launched last week. So that when you say all engineering companies are suffering, not necessarily true. Some people are thriving inside of this lockdown. It's just a question of how do you think through your own businesses. The same thing. So the whole essence is just one thing I try to do, even within my own business, is that I never try to follow the market. I only understand the market data for insight. So the whole market can be going down, your own business can be shooting up. So the same way you're talking about Amazon is doing so well, Jumia is posting losses in Nigeria. So it's easy for everyone to say, oh, online marketplace is doing well. But not true. Jumia is struggling. So what am I saying is that it is how you see your business and how you can think about your business. That is what determines, and how you can execute on your thinking. That's what determines how your business will thrive. So some people may be struggling, some people may be thriving when it's in some business. Thank you.
Okay, so that was a brilliant question. Okay. That was a brilliant question from Engineer Oyebode, and I hope Kayowa Ogurinde has answered your question. So there's another question. I'm going to take this for the last question. The question says from Owala. It says, how do you diversify your business apart from your core business? How do you diversify your business apart from your core business?
Okay, so that's a very technical question. I'm very, very, very intelligent. The reason is because for you to be asking that question, it means you're actually open to that possibility, which is very good in this time and age. So it's a lot of homework. First thing is you must first, I usually would say, just start with a scribble, write it down, write it down, make the vision plain, write it down, do your own personal business plan, not the one for investors now, your business plan that you believe in. Look at the numbers, look at the realities. If you can derive synergies from your existing business, even better. So I have a company that is doing cookies. Now they started chin and bread. So the core ingredients are still the same. So If they were buying, let's say, 100 kg of flour before, now they are buying 120 kg. So it's not like they're starting a new factory altogether. So if you can find synergies in that. So for example, I was talking of PepsiCo. They're now doing what do you call it? Hand sanitizer. What was hand sanitizer? Alcohol, glycerin, and one other ingredient. They don't need to build a new factory. If you check the bottle, the same bottle they're using to pack Mirinda that they're using to do it. So if you can find places where you can build synergy, it will reduce your cost of startup. It may even eliminate your cost of startup anyway. So that's the idea. Look through your business yourself, think through it, and try and see points of synergies that you don't have to break a lot of barriers to be able to enter. It helps. But if you need to start something else totally, count your costs, think through it, talk to people who have done it before, talk to people who have gone ahead of you. Do your numbers must make sense. And do not, I usually say, start small, scale fast. Start more, scale fast. So I don't always encourage people to start so huge. No. Minimize your risk such that even if it fails, you don't lose too much and you can quickly package yourself and try again. And don't be afraid of failing, basically. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Kayowa Ogurinde. That was a wonderful presentation. And also,
Love you all.
Thank you so much for coming on board. Right about now, we are moving on to the next speaker. Like I said when we're starting up, I said this conference is definitely going to be an amazing one, because as you can see, there's a lot to learn and we're already on board and it's moving. So the next person we are bringing up is Mr. Samuel Ajiboyede, who is the CEO of Zido Freight Logistics. Hi, Mr. Samuel.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Good day, everyone. Okay. Good day, everyone. My name is Samuel Ajiboyede, the CEO of Zido. Today we'll be looking at entering new markets, developing new products and entering new markets. And they also want me to talk about finance, which is also a good topic that I would love to talk about. I'll try to be as real as possible because I've realized over time that we read a lot of things in books, we read a lot of things everywhere. But sometimes what happened on the field, the reality are usually different from so many things that we read out there because the markets are not the same, the dynamic and all of that. So I will use a lot of my own experience to take us through this. Okay? The major thing I see in a lot of startups that the mistake that I myself have made and we as a company and a lot of people are still making first is that the reverse of understanding the market is different, and I will explain to you what that means. People go and create a product without identifying the market, without identifying the problem they're trying to solve. They get a product and want to impose it on the market. So they begin to create reasons why people should use the product and begin to appeal to the customers. They begin to create. That is usually a hard sale because you are creating a market that never existed. So the best way to approach developing product, whether old or new, or trying to create a new product into the market that you're already in, or enter a totally new market, the best approach that I've worked and I've tried is to engage with the market. Engage with the market, which is market research, okay? And when you are doing all of this, you might be doing it basically for two things, because it's usually a short-term strategy to enter a market with the aim of sustainability eventually. But it's always a short time. Either you're introducing a new product or you are entering a totally new market or whatever it is. It's going to be the same process. So we'll be looking at it. The next slide. Okay. So what are the things that you need to do first when you are entering a new market? The first thing you need to do is to do a proper market research. And I realized that doing a proper market research is not only by trying to ask questions on customer and all your partners. You need to enter the market and operate, create an opportunity for you to operate in the market and be able to identify the root cause. The mistake that a lot of people are making, that I also have made, I will give you an example, and I also try to compare. When we started Matatu, 3-wheel for last mile, we thought moving goods is the reason why we are doing the business. We did not understand the root cause, the root need of the customers. So we thought moving goods was the need. And what did we do? Okay? We aggregate all the 3-wheel vehicles, but they were not able to get to the customers. So the customer were not using them. Because the root reason why the customer want to use the platform is convenience. It's the fact that you can come and pick the goods from their house and help them deliver. You know the convenience is missing, the customer lose interest in the service. And that's how we lost the market. I'll give you another scenario. If I ask a lot of people, why do you think people are using a payment gateway? People will tell you that it's because it's convenient, the technology is fine, it's easy. But if I tell you the truth, that the real reason, the core reason why people are using a payment gateway, the first major reason is because it's cheap. It's because it's more friendly, it's cost friendly than the other products. Every other thing that you build on that is an additional value. But the first thing you do in any market is to really identify the root cause, the root need, the real need that the people need, and try to provide that need.
Black one.
There's distraction there, there's distraction. So the first thing you need to do is, if you can identify the root cause or the root need of your customers before other values, then you can effectively solve their problem. So what do we do differently? We did all our planning, we did our road planning, we did our development strategy, we did everything planned out. We move our team to the market and begin to interact with the customers. Come, we're creating this platform. I want to move your goods for you. And we begin to interact with them. And we realize that what other people are providing for them was not solving their the real need that they need. The truck owners know how to use the truck to carry the goods from A to B. He does not have a problem with that. But the root need that their root need is the fact that they don't have operational funding. That's the root need. So the technology that we're providing for them, the insurance we're providing for them, everything we're providing, they are good. But that is not the root need. That's not their root need to get in business. The real need that we identify is finance. So we need to provide that solution first and now begin to build other solutions on it. So we say, okay, the rule is that this guy don't have operational funds, so we have to provide that. We have to provide, then we now build other benefits. But we make sure at every point in time from our research that the real need of these customers are identified, and we look for ways to protect that real need. Then we also have because in our case we have two customers. We have customers, the owner of the truck. We also have customer, which is the company that owns the cargo that needs to move. So we also discuss with the cargo owner. We realize that the cargo owner is concerned in speed. His concern is speed, and his concern is to get the goods to get to the customer, to get to the destination safe. Okay, to get the goods safe, not damaged. So we identify that, and what do? We now develop our product based on customers' needs. It was not based on the market or based on we developed it based on the customer needs, both the truck owner And based on, and when the solution came out, another thing we did is to create a customer feedback. So as we are launching this product, we're also getting feedback and trying to adapt the product into the market. That is what they call product market fit. So as we're delivering this product, we're listening to them. And they were telling us, no, we don't want, this is not too good. We have adapted the product into the customer needs until we eventually have a good product for the customers. So, because we understand the market from our research, we relate with the market, we also test the market in a smaller scale. We didn't just go by, oh, we have done research, let's just start deploying. No. The next step we did was to do validation of the product in a smaller scale. So we created a product with one customer, we took customer, and we saw the outcome that it was working. Then we know that it's time to scale. So we begin to scale block by block. So we don't need to spend so much money wasting our resources on things that the customer doesn't want. So we took the customer through the development process. So we carried them through the development process. We did not just do it and say, oh, because the major problem that we have with a lot of people is that they create this product and impose it on customers. And they begin to try to convince the customer to use it. But because we carry the customer along in the development stage, the customer feedback is helping us to tailor the product to their need. And in the span of 1 month, 2 months, we're able to be significant in the market. Okay? Now, what are the key things that we need to always watch out for? You need to identify the customer true need. Whether they are 20 customers or what, because their product is only 2 customer base, some is 1 customer base. Like our product is digital platform, we have to bring 2 people together. So we have 2 customers. So we need to identify their true need and their true concern. And when you create this need, you also need to be able to have resources. If you don't have resources to drive the customer, because like in our own market, it's very big and it's capital intensive. One thing we also realize is that not only the fact that we are able to meet their needs, there's possibility of running out of resources. So we consciously manage our growth within our resources. So these are the things that market is trying to put for you. And sometimes you are also lucky to have a market that some people have played in it. You need to also do your competition analysis. Analyze, understand what your competitors are doing, and see how best have they done it, and what are they not doing properly, and get their best and get their weakness, analyze it, and come up with a solution. So we realize that our competitors are always running out of resources, and we find out that the major reason is that there is no proper planning for their resources. So we create a mechanism to help us manage our resources so that we don't get carried away by the market, because the market is big, and we begin to go out of resources. So those are the things that customer feedback gives to you. And it's simple. You can do all your presentation for investor, all of that. But you go into the market as the CEO, go and sit in the market, ask questions. Ask everybody, the customer, the everything, ask them. Get every detail, meet everybody change, and get a question from them. Those feedback will help you adjust your product in such a way that everybody truly value it. There's also a sense of ownership. When you are developing a product and you are involving a stakeholder, you give some kind of sense of ownership that even when the product eventually comes out, because their input have been considered, they automatically embrace it and make sure that you succeed with your product. Okay? So we'll be able to identify that, done that, and all of that. And so when you have realized that the product has been accepted, then you need to create your customer feedback system, your customer support. They should be able to reach you on time, to be able to respond. That's what they call customer experience. Because aside for you meeting their needs, sometimes they want to talk to you, sometimes they want to hear from you, sometimes they want to complain, sometimes they just want to be sure that you're talking to somebody. That is why you need to create a customer experience system that help customers reach your people at any time of the day, that help them solve their problem. So you need to have a customer system that help them solve their problem. Now, above this, you need to have a more stable technology. And I will always tell people, like, I'm thinking about a digital platform. When you are working in a digital platform, I will always tell everybody, try to use a simple technology that can serve your customers. Every other thing is secondary. So provide a technology that will generate the speed that you want, that will help them see visibility on what they are doing, that will help the customer know everything that has to do with their relationship with you, and they will also help you oversee all the operation and customer feedback and continuous improvement. I will tell you, there is always need for continuous improvement. The other thing that we want to talk about is to talk about sustainability, even now and in future. Even right now, when people talk about
you can still write something.
there's a distraction.
You can unmute yourself, Mr. Speaker.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. There's one thing that I have noticed with all businessmen, including myself, okay, that have made them successful, okay, and it has played out all over the world. And that is why, even when they are talking of all this pandemic and all of that, some people are still able to outgrow it and take advantage of the situation. Every businessman has a backup strategy, has a backup business strategy that help them navigate through hard time and every time. I'll give you an example. If you look at Microsoft, if you look at the Gates, Microsoft have which part of its investment? Are you listening? Some distraction again. Some distraction again. We need to be careful. Some distraction again. Okay. So for every businessman, you need to have a backup strategy. If you look at Microsoft, he has a backup strategy. I'll give you an example. If you look at Virgin, he has a backup strategy. If you look at Elizabeth in Nigeria, he has a backup strategy. If you have Zido, they have a backup strategy. And I will begin to explain it. And I realize that all these backup strategies are the same. Microsoft have which part of its investment in real estate? Okay? It's not because it's interested in doing real estate. It's a backup strategy. And I'll also prove to you. When Virgin is not able to raise money for its company because of this bankruptcy and all of that, Virgin pushes Island, his real estate investment forward, to negotiate to get funding to run his business. If you go to Elizabeth, every plant, Elizabeth in Nigeria is an auto dealer. But there's no place Elizabeth does not have a property in Nigeria. He buys them through his cash flow. Okay? What people do is that they convert their cash flow into a fixed asset. I don't want to go into that. That's another financial. I will talk about it a little bit when we're talking about raising funds. When I go to it. Okay? So they convert part of their cash flow into real estate somehow. Because you're a businessman, and you're able to generate income, you can position part of your income into some kind of investment, maybe real estate, that can also generate income and become a fixed asset in future. Now, what does this do for you? Anytime anything goes wrong, you can sell off that thing and pump money back into your business, or use that thing to negotiate to get funding to continue your business. Because the reason why it's like that is that nothing is permanent. Okay? Nothing, government regulation can come, anything can come, can affect business, COVID-19 can come. I will tell you, even as people are talking about downtime, people are still building as we speak now. People are still building. Investors are still investing in real estate. Assets, a lot still going on. If you go to Lagos, everywhere, building is coming up every day, even more than ever. And what is the reason? It's simple. There's nowhere to put your money to get profit now except real estate. The capital market is crashing. The bank are not paying good interest. So where do you have? So the only place you can put your money that looks safe now is real estate. So this thing, even as a businessman, you need a backup strategy. Because whatever you are doing now that you think you are making money can go wrong anytime. The CEO of Gokada bought a real estate of $2.7 million last year. People thought he was mad. He knows what he's doing. Now, the former CEO of Uber bought a real estate of $47 million. See, all these are what they call backup strategy. You buy those houses and they're also generating income and also giving you a backup. In case anything goes wrong in your business, you can always fall back on that. So I think it's a good thing that every business has a backup strategy. It might not be the same model. I'm just giving an example. It might not be exactly the same model. Okay? But what a backup strategy does for you is that it increases your investment. It helps you in case whatever you are doing now, anything goes wrong, it helps you to quickly bounce back aside insurance. That's one. The other thing that is also good is that you should move with the trending. Why do you think Amazon want to buy, why do you think Amazon want to buy TikTok and all of that? People don't know that, these people know that this thing will give them a lot of attention. That numbers of people under TikTok is attention everybody is looking for. Why do you think every investor, you might not know, but I'm telling you, every investor has invested in an online platform, whether a online magazine, whether on social media platform, something that aggregates numbers. When you have where people's attention lies, and there are in millions, billions, you can sell anything. You can get people to your side because you have people looking up to you with that number. So anybody who buys TikTok have a big number in the US. Anybody who buys TikTok already have control of the membership of TikTok. Now, with that, you can use it to propel sales. You can use it to drive opinion. You can use that to do a lot of things. So sometimes I call it, you need to have strategic group of companies that help you navigate when it comes to media, that help you with media, that help you with numbers, that help you with influence. You need to have the one that help you with finance and all of that. Now, let me give you another scenario that will help you. I'm talking about real life experience. If you go to a Nigerian bank today as a startup, a lot of people are struggling to fund their business. Because why? It's a startup. A startup is an intangible company. And I will say it every time. Intangible company is that it doesn't have tangible assets. What he has is his numbers, membership, and software, and all that. All of these are intangible and projection. That is why when you are doing any business, you need to look for a way to strategically build an asset-based business to support your business. That's a long way, or a long story. And that is why, if you see all the startup pioneers in Nigeria, the smart one among them, they have a real estate company in one side. It's all strategic. Because anytime you need money, you can actually use that real estate to generate money for your business. Or you get partners that might not have money, but have real estate in their portfolio to be part of your company. So that It can help you raise funds when you really need to raise funds. Okay? So sometimes you need to understand your resources. How do you get it? Is the bank going to give you money? If they're not going to give you money, what are the conditions they're going to give you money? So if you know that the condition they're going to give you money is only when you have an asset, then you need to begin to build your assets indirectly. Or you bring people who have an asset to work with you, to be on your board, to help you raise funds. Because it's not easy to get an investor to just invest in your company without having done something yourself. So you need to have a creative way, a creative mind to raise money, to raise resources, to raise partners, to drive your business. And above all, as a business owner, you need to have your own brand. Okay? Don't mind me, I'm not following too much of the slide. I'm just talking from my own experience. Now, as a businessman, you have a good business, you have a good backup, you have a good partner, you have a good strategy. You need to project your brand, your personal brand and your company brand. Why? Because people want to buy from people they think they know. People want to buy from people they've heard from them. Because based on the kind of thing you engage with, one of the things you engage with, you put online, people are able to create your character, your perception, and they're able to relate with you in that form. And that is why you need to be conscious about your company brand, conscious about your personal brand, and make sure what you say, what you send out, represent your brand. So quick one. Let me round it up because I've seen that it's like they want me to go. So let me quickly round it up. See, as a startup, don't just bring anybody that is your brother on board. Bring people that have resources. There are two kinds of resources that you need. People that have assets, people that have knowledge, or people that have the market. Let me tell you, market. People that can give you business. If you have somebody that can give you business, it is also money. You just need to structure it well. If somebody can tell you that, come, I'm going to give you 1 million supply every month. That is more than money. With that, if there's a doctor, you can actually structure that to get funding because you have something that you want to use the money for. But some people don't even have the market, they are looking for money. It doesn't work that way. If you have somebody that's going to give you a market or bring assets on board, these are the kind of people you should bring on board. Don't just bring somebody because he's your friend. No. See, technology can be bought. Programmer can be hired. What is not just easy is knowledge and is money. But if you have people who have this capacity to be on your board on time, it's going to help you. Then, as also a final conclusion, try to understand what you need to know about legal, what you need to know about finance, and what you need to know about operation, and what you need to know about technology. Know it so well so that it can help you grow. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Samuel. That was a great one. You know, Mr. Samuel is I would say he's a mentor I look forward to, that I look onto from afar. Although I'm not really close to him, but he's someone I always look up to because he's someone who has a lot of wisdom when it comes to businesses. And he said three things. He said if you're starting a business, you need to bring in three sets of people. He said the first person you'll be bringing on board should be someone with resources. He also mentioned that the second person should be someone who has knowledge, and the third person should be someone who would bring you business, which is what every business owners are looking forward to. Thank you so much for that great one, Mr. Samuel. So I want to take one or two questions. If you have a question, you could just raise your hands or drop it in the chat box. As we move on, kindly drop your questions. We don't have a lot of time. You might probably the speaker would have to answer your questions in the chat box. We need to move on.
I have a question, please.
Okay.
I have a question, host.
when you are discussing your contract, let me give you an example. If you come and meet, maybe City Corp now comes to us and say, oh, we say we'll give you a contract to be producing our publication every month. And the contract is worth maybe 100 million naira. And I sign it up as zero. If you carry that thing to a bank, the bank will give you maybe out of the 100 million, maybe you need actually need 20 million naira to do the business. The bank will look at that, you only need 20 million, you're going to get 80 million. The difference is more. So can we just, okay, tell us who and who should we pay that money to? We will not pay you directly. So see, it's just about creativity. If you can't get that, the other thing is that they will tell you to bring collateral. But if you understand your limitation of your resources, while discussing with your supplier or your partners or your people that want to give business, you make sure they draft it in a way that is fundable. So that's one. Secondly, we have started a big project on real estate. Okay, we are going to complete it very soon. We're going to put it on very soon. Okay. You see, I love real estate because of I follow Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone is one of my mentors that I look up to. Okay, so I've been following him and all of that. But I've seen how real estate has helped a lot of companies navigate through hard times. Okay, now why is real estate a good way for you to invest? A lot of financiers will want to invest in real estate because it is real. This is different. If you go into a business that is difficult to fund, it's a big challenge. I said that the business has its own challenge. We're also going to have a challenge of funding. So double wahala. That's double problem. So even though if you are in a business that is difficult to fund, start another business that is easy to fund. When you start another business that is easy to fund, whatever you make from that one that is easy to fund, you can now pump into the one that is not easy to fund. And you get the two businesses moving. Hope I've helped you. Yeah,
very well. Thank you so very much.
Okay.
Samuel.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Samuel. I hope Mr. Samuel has answered your question, John Fatomi. There are a lot of questions currently on the chat box, but because of time, Mr. Samuel will have to answer those questions there in the chat box as we move on to the next speaker. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a wonderful day. Yeah, bye for that.
Thank you. So the next speaker that we're bringing on board is the Honorable Commissioner Seun Fakorede. We are bringing him on board now. His Excellency, we are bringing him on board now. So for a lot of people who don't know the commissioner himself, the Honorable Seun Fakorede is a Nigerian entrepreneur, he's a speaker, he's a politician. At 27, he became the youngest commissioner in Nigeria's history when he was appointed the Commissioner for Youth and Sport in Oyo State. He's also the founder and director of non-profit Home Advantage Africa, where he's an advocate for African patriotism amongst the youth. So we are bringing him on board now.
So, welcoming His Excellency. Can you please unmute yourself and then you can make a presentation, please. You're very welcome.
Dr. Vera Fiado is a senior lecturer and researcher for the University of Ghana Business School.
Okay. All right. So I like to use the screen. So if you can allow me to share the screen briefly. So what I want to talk about is more to do with building financial resilience, and it has more to do with the fact that in the recent spate of the COVID and everything, one of the key things that is hitting everybody is more of a financial crisis. So the question is, how do we build some resilience such that at the end of it all, we won't have the worst of negative financial outcomes as a result of the pandemic? How about getting firms and individuals in general to be able to buffer the financial shocks that are definitely going to be coming our way, and then if possible help entities bounce forward and catapult into the future, leveraging on what I will refer to as core competencies. Now, of course, one thing is quite clear: this COVID-19 has really thrown us on the deep end. Most of us didn't see it coming. Last year Christmas was good, January a few years and there's life was literally going on quite well until by mid-March then it became clear that something needed to give. And so yes, as offices started closing, jobs were being lost, borders were being closed, and a number of borders are still closed to this point. Then suddenly what started as a health crisis somewhere remotely suddenly became an economic crisis because economics were trying to adjust and deal with it and to stop the spread. And before long, this cascaded into a financial crisis for just about everybody, from individuals to businesses. Conglomerates are collapsing, and day in, day out, we have firms that are closing down, filing for bankruptcy protection, etc. So obviously, one thing is clear: if the financial crisis continues and gets worse, then of course we're going to get into a downward spiral. So the question is, how do we move forward? But before then, you can see that majority of the challenges that are being faced by businesses now, a number of them, yes, operational cash flow is a problem. So whilst they may have very good assets, etc., and business itself is not ordinarily a bad business model, operational cash has become an issue because typically there's a drop in demand. And then with a drop in demand and of course with the closures and etc. and the social distancing and limited interaction, there's also a reduction in the opportunities to meet new customers. So all in all, there are quite a few issues. And for a number of them, there's also the issue of the need to wonder whether business strategies are functional at this point, or there's a need to offer alternative products and services. So now when we look at everything put together, we see that even as we are struggling with the financial issues, the fall in demand, the inability to meet people face to face, the way forward for us to get out is to find a way to frame the problem appropriately. Because only then, with the right framing of the problems that we face, can we begin to look at a solution that works. Because the saying of the mantra is that if you're asking the wrong questions, then obviously good answers may not necessarily be the right answers you're looking for. So our ability to frame the problem appropriately will then mean that in finding solutions, we're going to find appropriate solutions that will catapult us. And we know that it is in solving problems that money begins to follow. So let's frame the problem, and in finding the solutions, financial resilience may be our portion. So there's also the need to ideate. So think through what really are the challenges. Now, to be able to do that, I think the other presenters have mentioned much. Data is key. As was captured in The Economist not too long ago, it says that data is the new oil, and that's what we should be drilling for. What do your customers want? What are some of the data points you have on previous employees? What did it say? What does it mean? What notes have you captured? Customer info, emails that you have received over the periods. What were they pointing to? And with those kinds of info, how do you frame, how do you begin to understand the peculiar problem that you are faced with so that you can come up with appropriate solution offers that can be looked at? Now, once you're able to get your data functional, then it means we are now going to get the answers. In getting the answers, COVID-19 is an unprecedented period. So we don't even have answers that we can say, okay, so If it's working this way, then do it this way. If it's doing that, and then I'll do it this way. So really, it's more of a constant iteration process where you gather new data and then you modify. So strictly speaking, it requires a lot of strategic intelligence, your ability to adapt to the changing data set and then to come up with strategies accordingly. Because once you have inertia, you're not moving, you're not changing with the times, then financial resilience and possibly financial success is going to be something that will be more of a mirage. So as much as possible, you're going to use a process of constant iteration to uncover possible solutions, because as you even find solutions, they may work for a little bit and then they need to be modified. But more importantly, then you need to work with a value-based framework where you have objectives, and then even as you're coming up with solutions, you are looking out for your KPIs. Okay, I need to meet A, B, C, D. Now, if I do not meet that particular KPI, then of course I need to go back to the drawing board to find out why did I not maybe meet my sales target for this season. Okay, it is because due to COVID, people are no longer coming out of their homes to buy. But maybe if I were to probe further, I would realize that these persons are interested in the product, all right, but for safety reasons, they may not want to come out of their homes because maybe they don't have private cars to drive in. So then the option is, okay, what if I deliver to your homes? Are you interested? And by surveying and getting that kind of data, you may actually begin to think of a new business model that may work for you. Now, in all things, when we put everything together, some of the key things that will drive value and in the long term ensure financial resilience are 4 things. The kinds of people you have, and I think the previous speaker also mentioned that. What's your human resource capacity? What unique traits do they bring to the board? And having the right people in the right quantity in the right place is the difference between a successful firm and a failing firm. Do you have persons who are able to brainstorm to come up with new ideas, or you have persons who lack the ability to adapt and change even as the environment around them is changing? So the question you need to find out now, even as you're working towards financial resilience, is whether you have the right people in place to ensure that you move towards the resilience that you need. Because having the right people, your right human resource, will determine the intellectual capital that is at play for you, and that plays a key role as well in how well you do. Now, beyond having the right people, you need the right strategy. Are you attacking the market right? Are you entering the market right? Are you dealing with the customers right? Are you dealing with all stakeholders the proper way? So strategy is more of how you intend to conquer, so more of the art of war. How do you intend to play on this complex terrain of the consumer market, etc.? So having the right strategy obviously means that you need to understand your environment, and it comes back to data. What's your external environment looking like? What's your internal environment looking like? What are the opportunities available? What are the threats in there? What are your strengths and weaknesses? And out of that, and even what are the trends within the market space? Do you see any set of changing dynamics? How can you ride the storm with that? So these are issues you need to deal with in relation to the strategy. Now, once you've got the strategy and then you've got the people, you've got to move. So now that has to do with execution. Do you have an implementation framework? Is it tailored such that it will deliver you to the point of interest? So you may have a strategy, but who does what? When is it supposed to be done? And who is accountable? Who is responsible? So who must do something? What must be done? And when must it be done? Because only then can you begin to look at the fact that even if there's a need to revise, to make changes, It is only from the point of execution that you realize that either this is not applicable to you or it has issues for which reason you may need to therefore go back and modify. Now, supporting all of these is a need to manage your cash, and that's to do with cash and liquidity management. A number of the firms now, like I said, have filed for bankruptcy because of issues in relation to cash. So cash is key. It is what will oil the till and move you on. So in general, having looked at having the right people, and like the previous speakers have said, focusing on the right strategy because you know what your market really is looking for. You proceed to execution. You must have routines, periodic routines on when you meet to catch up with your senior management team and others. How do you go about delivering on the strategy that you have? So that's your execution. And then also, quite importantly, managing your cash. And of course, I want to look at it. So fixing the bugs that could actually be hampering your quest for financial resilience. For some of the businesses, it could actually mean a complete re-engineering of the business model. And the previous speaker also mentioned something in the area of diversification. So others are now, and also you may want to look at enhancements. So during the COVID, when people were no longer going out and incomes were falling and the typical luxury lifestyle was going down, we had a car maker going into the production of ventilators because that's what the market needed at the point in time. We had a pizza maker having the ovens, the heating ovens, etc., going into the production of face shields using acrylics, etc., and then now producing what the market needed. We had alcohol distilleries going into sanitizer production, etc. Now, what you can see from this point is that a number of these institutions were leveraging on their core competencies, i.e., what they do best. So as an institution, as a firm, as whatnot, the question is, what do you do so well? So well, or what strength do you have that is so inherent that you can transition into another area? So it comes back to answer a previous question about the diversification. You may need to move sometimes completely out of the particular value chain, or if you have the opportunity within that same value chain, you may want to do either some forward integration, meaning that going to the next level of the value addition frame, or going backwards to be your own supplier, which then begins to minimize your cost implications to a large extent if you got volume, and then that begins to work towards financial resilience. Now, in this era of social distancing, there's a need to re-engineer sales. The market may still be warming up slowly, so now the idea will be how to trigger the markets to warm up faster. So that will be a lot of brainstorming to go on in-house within firms. And then I can't say it up enough, you need to start freeing up a lot of cash. So you need to start going into your financials, your books. Begin to know the entities that are holding your cash. And so the very first speaker spoke about knowing your figures. What does your financial statement say? When you look at your balance sheet, it gives you a sense of where money is hidden. So, for example, if you've got a very large receivables base, you may want to start strategizing on how your receivables management is going to come up. So, and then you look at your fixed assets base. Do you have too many fixed assets in relation to the kind of sales or delivery you're doing at this point? Is that an opportunity to shrink your asset base? If so, you take advantage of that. So these are issues that you need to look at when we want to fix the bugs that could be standing in the way of building financial resilience through this period and beyond. So, like I said, in freeing up the cash, if you have the access to raise long-term funding, possibly you may want to take that up, but you want to take a critical look at the implications in terms of the repayment schedule and whether it suits you. You can take on suppliers' credits. You try as much as possible to get equity funding where it's possible. And then when you keep your inventory or your stock at the barest minimum, just so that it satisfies your production frames, your fixed assets, like I mentioned, your receivables, and also other short-term investments at just the optimal level, then you're likely to free up cash, and that will serve to oil the machinery and ensure that financial resilience is not just a dream.
1 more minute, please, Doctor.
Yeah, so when you look at everything, the key takeaways I would like to put in here is that as much as possible, stimulate immediate liquidity so that you keep your business solvent. An insolvent business is of no use to anyone. And then work to generate sufficient cash resources to remain intact at least for the next 1 year. So it may mean that generating a lot more sales, minimizing your certain asset bases, raising funds where possibly. And like I mentioned, in terms of strategy, you'd want to seriously do multiple levels of scenario analysis. Test various scenarios with relevant data to find out which one maximizes liquidity and keeps you in business. And then as much as possible, whenever you're taking any decision, try to measure the short-term and long-term financial impact as much as possible. Try to know as much as possible the unknowns that affect your business and can also affect your forecast, and see whether in the long term your balance sheet is strong enough to weather the storm. And if it's not, then you may begin to either seek help, professional help, on how to restructure your business going forward. To wrap up, you need to start generating more backup plans. If you realize that there are vulnerabilities and liquidity issues that you may not be in a position to handle, this is the time to begin to generate backup plans. You don't generate backup plans when the problems are finally upon you. So now is the time to look into the future. And as much as possible, in the use of capital, in the use of funding, keep in mind that not everything needs to be spent. It may look good, so you could be guided by the principle of what I like to call the Moscow approach. Before you purchase anything as a business, as an entity, is it a must-have? Does it actually reflect an essential commodity that will affect the survival of a business if purchases are not made? If that is the case, then it is a must-have. A should-have is good, it enhances value, but it doesn't necessarily make the difference between the survival or the demise of a business. So you may want to hold off briefly unless the funding is available. The could-haves and the would like to have are the tail end of things that add some beauty and flair to a business, but do not necessarily add much in any other way. And so in making use for what appears to be scarce capital at this point, the key thing you must focus on efficient use of capital, because that's the way to walk towards financial resilience. And so I can say that in closing, if businesses stay solvent, then we have a greater chance as Africa to recover after the virus threat subsides globally. I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vera Fiado. That was a great presentation, a lot to learn from you. If you have your questions, please drop your questions. I'm going to take 1-2 questions as we move on. The commissioner is back, is in the room now. The commissioner is in the room now. Okay, thank you so much, Vera Fiado. Thanks for coming. Please greet our people in Ghana and also our people in University of Business.
I will, thank you.
Thank you so much.
So good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you so much for coming.
Yes, so good to be here. I mean, this is amazing. Of course, no thanks to the pandemic, because I'm very sure that we would have been having this live. And of course, well, I'm so happy that we didn't, allow the pandemic, to stop us, from creating indelible impact, and then we still went ahead, to host this. And I believe that, for everyone who has been participating, from the beginning of this event, would say that they have, learned, so much, because I saw the lineup of speakers, and I'm quite impressed, because these are people of value. I personally, tried as much as possible to check about two, check up about two speakers, and then I must say that what they would have shared, would have been very, very, very amazing. So this is me, bringing a very, very amazing, and warm greetings, from Oyo
Please,
State.
sir, we can't really hear you.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just a minute.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Can we hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. All right. So sorry about that. I'm actually on the move. I had to just pack to do this because I'm on my way to try to attend to one very important assignment that came up impromptu. So yeah, so this is me. Bringing good tidings to everyone. All participants of this engagement. All the way from the city of Ibadan, as the Honorable Commissioner for Youth and Sports for your state. So I wish that we all would have a robust engagement here, and then an amazing time of impact, and of course trying to equip ourselves with more knowledge, especially surrounding the team, which is expanding business horizons and scaling the hurdles of financing for SMEs. So please and please, have an amazing time. Enjoy, your time here, and I'm very, very sure that we are going to be able to apply, all the things, that we learn here. We're going to maximize, the application. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate you for coming. Thank you once more. Please say us well to the people of Oyo State.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, I sure will. Thank you very much.
All right, that was a great one from the commissioner. And now we are moving on. We are gradually moving on. We are moving on to the next speaker, who is Prof. Magnus. Prof. Magnus is in the room already.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, sir.
And thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much for coming.
I've been religiously listening to all the previous speakers, and I think this is a great event. I want to kind of declare a conflict of interest here. My good friend Olade Ayorinde has invited me to speak here. In fact, he conscripted me to speak at this conference. So I am delighted to honor him and honor the people who are speaking already. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Can I share the slide that you have, please?
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so I will be looking at the first speaker. Actually, there was a question on virtual education or virtual learning in Africa, as the case may be. So I will be sharing some experiences and what has happened in the world since the pandemic arrived, and how this has affected effectively shut down every school. But again, Africa being the so-called crybaby of the world, we are suffering most, while schools in Europe, Africa, Asia are still going on virtually. I would say 80% of schools in Africa are still shut down. I live in Kampala, and I run a university here as well. Unfortunately, 80% of the schools are still closed. Can I share what I have from here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just 1 minute now. I thought we will share from your own place. So I run a virtual university actually here in Kampala, and our university was created in 2011 as a completely virtual university. So we foresaw COVID arriving as far back as 2011, and you could imagine how unprepared still Africa is, having this pioneering university as far back as 2011 in Kampala. So my presentation, I will look at virtual learning, the global outlook. Then I'll look at the global market for virtual learning. We'll look at it from the African perspective. And then the challenges, creating virtual environments for educational purposes in Africa. Then I will talk briefly about the Nexus International University. So I will blow a little of our trumpet. If you don't blow it for yourself, nobody does it for you. Then I will conclude after that. So virtual learning globally, the word was coined in 1998. And the e-learning market actually has been in place for over 2 decades now. So those of you, in Nigeria, I'm a Nigerian. I am a Nigerian by birth, though by residency I am not. But in any case, it is alarming that after 2 decades, 20 years, the National University Council in Nigeria refused me registering this university in Nigeria in 2015. And I had to go to Uganda to buy one. It is alarming. I mean, in 2015, 15 years after online learning started, NUC in Nigeria was not available. They were not in a place to license a virtual university. Now COVID has arrived. What has happened? 2 decades later, what has happened? No Nigerian university is on today. None. Shame. Big shame. And I am very, very ashamed to say that I am a Nigerian as far as virtual learning is concerned. Now, 50% of students in various higher education institutions have taken online courses in the past years. And this is the statistics from America, this is the statistics from Europe, and even in Africa here is not as high as 50%, but it will be at least up to 20%. We don't have the figures for Africa yet. So the global outlook, in terms of, we say the market is the ruler, right? So corporate e-learning reports the effect of increasing knowledge retention anywhere from 25 to 60%. These are short courses. And Udemy, Coursera, Linda, Allison. These are where the short trade takes place, right? Now, almost 80% of companies use online learning platforms in 2017. And we don't know what it is this year, right? But you will almost now recognize that it will be 100%. Now, I worked a while for a company called Intel in 2000. And everybody who knows about laptops and desktops and everything, there must be an Intel inside. As far back as 2000, Intel had what they called Intel University. This was their intra-campus training facility. So all their in-house training were on that portal. They were all held online as far back as 2000. I am not aware of the Nigerian companies. I don't have statistics for them as per online learning. Now, Udemy is one of the most popular online learning platforms globally. Can we imagine? The assignment I will give now is, before I finish this program, this presentation, I want somebody to Google and tell us the annual gross income of Udemy. Before I finish this presentation, I would like to have that figure. You will see that what Udemy alone earned in 2019 or 2018, whichever figure you're able to get, will be chasing vigorously the budget of most states in Nigeria. Okay, Lagos may beat it, Port Harcourt may beat it, but if we take only internally generated revenue, it may beat Lagos State. So when asked, 60% of internet users reported that online courses are preferable to fit their lifestyles and schedules. Now, what is the population of students in Nigeria? If 60% alone will say that internet online courses will suit them better, why are universities in Nigeria not running online courses? Why is the government telling us that online courses are inferior? But meanwhile, they employ people from America, they employ people from Europe, they don't know how they got their degrees, they got them online. The biggest university in the UK today is Open University UK. They've gone online, they've been online. But Open University Nigeria, which happens to be the biggest university in Nigeria as well, how do we look at the graduates? Every day we are messing them around. Even when our former head of state went there and garnered a PhD, we still feel that Open University is inferior. Nigeria, please wake up. Wake up. You are 250 million people. Wake up. The world is leaving you behind. So let's look at the global market. We are looking at projected to 2025, just in 5 years' time, or even 4.5 years' time. We are talking about $325 billion that this market will be worth. Are we still saying that this is an area we have to not pay attention to? Then they are saying that virtual and augmented reality education software, that is that particular segment. This is a very little segment where you augment virtual teaching with reality, this virtual reality. That industry alone is going to be 300 million. Now, they say charity starts at home. If we have software developers in Nigeria, and we have good ones, who can do this, their first market should be Nigeria, their second market should be Africa. Where are we with this? Which Nigerian university will do virtual learning? Let us forget about augmented reality. Again, I am infuriated because I am a Nigerian citizen. I spent most of my youth in Nigeria. I left Nigeria at the age of 37. I had worked all my youthful energy I spent in Nigeria, but I got nothing out of it. And today I'm in Uganda. Uganda, we gave them their first chief judge, Justice Udu Doma. He was the first chief judge in Uganda. But today, Uganda is pioneering technological education. And we are there in Nigeria sleeping, eating akara, embezzling money in Abuja, running private jets. That's all we do. The tech industry in Nigeria is ready to move on. What they need is a little money. The first and second speakers talked about raising funds. How has our government raised funds for foreign investors? Everything is being done by the private sector. Okay, rightly so. Rightly so. But where are the incentives from the government? Intel is getting a bailout from the Irish government. How Hewlett Packard is getting a bailout from Irish government. You have heard about the case of Apple, where Apple was encouraged by the Irish government to the tune of $13 billion. Where is Nigeria in all of this? Are we not in the same global market that the young Nigerian scientist, the young Nigerian software developer is battling with somebody from Norway, with Sweden, with all the government incentives? Where is our government? Why are we allowing these people to roam the streets with big cars and our money? Sleep in hotels, take the most beautiful girls we have, and we hail them and give them chieftaincy titles. Nigeria, we have to wake up. This is the time to really wake up. Otherwise, the world is leaving us behind. So, universal approach to COVID-19 was to close all schools. That was the first thing that happened. Now, when schools were closed, I have a daughter who is a medical student. She didn't lose one day of school. She came home, schools were closed. The next day they were online. They finished their exams. I mean, these are medical students. I'm not talking about history students. I'm not talking about business administration students. I'm not talking about sociology. I am talking about medical students. She finished her exams, no disruption. They are going back from the 17th of September. This is the world we live in. All the universities in Nigeria are sleeping. More than 4 million students or 5 million students are roaming the streets doing nothing. That is very, very sad. It's a very, very sad commentary. And I think this conference, one of the outcomes of this conference is to call on the government to authorize online education immediately in Nigeria and let them set the processes in line to make sure that the universities comply with at least the minimum standard for installing online education. Who will get the job? Software developers, our system administrators, website engineers, and so on and so forth. It's a way to create jobs. Stop giving people 20,000 every month if they give at all. That is not necessary. Create wealth. Let the people create the wealth they use. Create an enabling environment. That's all we need. Now, over 1.7 or 1.6 billion learners, 91% of enrollment affected worldwide. In Africa, 297 million. Look at that number, 297 million. Teachers, redundant. School resources, all the big buildings in University of Nigeria and Nsukka, University of Ife, University of Lagos, Ahmadu Bello University, all those structures, my dear, they are now comatose. The only place they are living is online. That's the only place they are living now is online. You have a big library that has 1 million books. Let me say the best library in Nigeria has 1 million books. My dear, with your smartphone, the little smartphone you have in your hand, you have access to 50 million resources at any time. So our teachers are redundant. The question now is what next? The real concern is that COVID is not going away very soon. This is true. It's not going away very soon. Now, what are the challenges? We are asking China to build our railway, we take loan. We are asking China to build our roads, we take loan. Build bridge, we take loan. Who is building our internet infrastructure? Who is? Where is the electricity? What has happened to solar power development in Nigeria? What has happened to hydro dams? Man, what is happening? People go to the National Assembly and collapse, right? Yeah, they go to the National Assembly and collapse. And that is where the money for building the digital highway is in the collapsing. Very, very unfortunate. And some of us are very angry about this. It is not that Nigeria is poor. Nigeria is not a poor country. We are a very resourceful country. Let me not say rich. We are very resourceful. And we can do this. We need internet access at every nook and cranny in Nigeria. We can do it. We can do it. If a snake could swallow millions, if a Gando dollar could take millions in the presence of in national television, we can get internet to every facet of business in Nigeria. Availability of local developed content. Okay, this is true. Okay, we have to learn it. I have to learn it myself because teaching in the classroom is not the same thing with teaching online. The curriculum development is different. The teaching materials are different. The access that students have are different. We can learn it. It doesn't take 1 month to learn. Training and professional development, yes. Why can't companies say, okay, our policy now is that 80% of the time people will learn online. Meetings we hold online, 80% of the time. No more traveling. And of course it is happening. I am talking to you from Uganda. This would not have happened this time last year or 2 years ago. Interesting. So COVID-19 crisis is not only a health disaster, is not only an Armageddon, it is also an opportunity, to strengthen education technology in Africa and to strengthen technology in all facets of life in Africa, not just education. Okay, I am talking about education today, but I mean the whole of Africa requires it. So I will talk briefly about my own university. We were, like I said, we were established in 2011, and our vision is to become Africa's global university. We are still in the tottering steps, though we are 9 years old. We have suffered a lot of bureaucratic crippling problems. We have suffered lack of funding because nobody believed in us. But we have kept our heads above water. You know, we are leveraging technology to provide access to affordable and globally recognized degrees. Our values are integrity, quality, respect, agility, and innovation. Up to the moment, up to 2 days ago, we were not allowed to run undergraduate degrees. Up to 2 days ago, we were only allowed to run master's degrees because in Uganda the belief was that only mature students can use the internet. So they restricted us to only postgraduate degrees for the past 9 years. But from yesterday, we've gotten permission to start running our undergraduate programs. So that is good news for me, and that is one of the motivations that made me to actually, come to this conference today, because I've been very happy since yesterday, but not very happy about Nigeria. So we offer corporate courses as well. We have a good number of them on our corporate academy platform, and we've had good traction around there too. So we have 500 students over the last 10 years. We started with 35 students, but this year we broke the 200 barrier mark. Students are from 17 countries. But let me give you the real statistics here. In the last 5 years, we have only had 3 students from Nigeria. Interesting, And we have over 200 courses on our platform. Just to say, there are so many advantages of learning online. First of all, it is cost effective. You don't need to travel. You are where you are. The risk of traveling is cut off. The risk of going away from your family is cut off. Then the cost of it as well. Because when you travel to a classroom, there is a teacher, there is infrastructure, there is electricity, there is water. These facilities are there. They are all costs, and they are bundled over to the student or to the learner. These are all cut off, and you have high quality training. For example, in our university, we have an international faculty. My oil and gas courses are taught from people who are in Aberdeen. Aberdeen is the Port Harcourt of the UK. We have people from Italy. We have people from Latvia. We have people from Estonia. We have people from Georgia teaching just that course. And they don't need to come to Uganda. They teach from the comfort of their homes. And students take these courses, and there are some of the other courses that we teach. So e-learning can actually reduce or totally remove expenses incurred as a cost of transportation to training centers, etc., etc. It can also be time effective, because you don't need to drive through traffic. So today I'm talking to you, I just woke up in the morning, brushed up myself, I'm sitting on my dining desk here, and I'm speaking with you, and I'm enjoying every minute of it. Before, I would have had to fly down to Nigeria, pay bribe at the airport, then lose my luggage while moving from Murtala Mohammed Airport to wherever I would sleep in Lagos, And then by the time I come back, I would have lost 5 kg, because of hassles. Then through e-learning, instructors or students can instantly measure their progress activity while learning. So as I'm teaching, I can just deliver a quiz online. And even if I have 200 students, my learning platform, if I put up a quiz and say this quiz is for 5 minutes, by the 6th minute, every student will get their scores. Because as you tick, it is ticking, and immediately you say submit. Your score is on your screen.
1 more minute, sir. 1 more minute, sir.
Thank you. I'm almost there. Thank you. So in conclusion, look at what COVID has done to the education sector. You can see about 1.38 billion in terms of resources, lying comatose. That is how it has affected us. The pandemic has disrupted education worldwide. Unfortunately, internet access is a huge problem for us in Africa, for our own learners. But some universities are going out of their way to sign big contracts with MTN, Airtel, and other big providers to make their students, the cost of data to be a bit lower for their students. Now, it has been proved by research that student, retentive capacity for materials taught online are far better than when they are taught in the classroom. Now, for kids, you may need a more structured approach because kids are easily distracted. So in relation to that, there are a lot of things we can do. There are a lot of collaboration tools. There are tools that promote engagement for kids, and this can be personalized. And we can see that students, the children actually do more. I don't know how many of you here have schooled their children at home since this pandemic started. You will marvel at the level of progress they have made, just sitting at home and learning. Thank you very much. But before I close finally, please, Nigeria, wake up. Wake up. It is time. The time is overdue. We have to wake up. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prof. Magnus. That was an awesome presentation, Professor Magnus. So one more question for you. This question is from Oluwadare Joshua Ibode. He said, what is the way forward and COVID-19 recovery strategies for Nigeria education? No power, no internet, fear of integrity of online lecture, and lack of integrity for virtual learning.
So the first thing I will say is declare a state of emergency. Declare a state of emergency. You know how they told us to stay indoors? Let them now tell the telecom companies to work with universities and make sure that 60 or 80% of our universities are online before the end of September. It will happen. I am telling you, it will happen. Because if they want to embezzle $6 billion today, they will embezzle it if it is available. So make that money available to education. Let our professors, those who are in telecommunication and computer science, they are well able to get all universities, if not 80% of them, started by the end of September. I am here. I have capacity for 25 to 40,000 students. I can take on 2 or 3 private universities in Nigeria, put them on my platform, and tomorrow they are teaching their students again. And there are so many businesses who are ready with their platforms already to put universities on them. In India, what is happening in India, 2 weeks ago I was talking to somebody, and he showed me a website. The government has created an online platform for teaching engineering subjects. And universities are getting ported on that platform to teach the engineering subjects, because universities can teach history, the non-science subjects without practicals, but the ones with practicals, there are virtual labs, there are virtual workshops now. You go, you put your students in them, and they do the normal. Now, gentlemen, who has seen a pilot training with a Boeing, with Airbus A383, right? Which is the biggest. Who has ever seen them training on the field or in the air? You can't see them. It is all simulation, right? They go, they train on a simulator. After that, they go into a plane. You can't use a plane to train a pilot. You can't. So they train on a simulator. So if that can happen, what is the common fixing positive and negative wire in an electrical laboratory? And the light shows. What is that one? So it is possible. We can do it by the end of September. We can get at least 40% of our universities online, if not 80%. By ready technology today, by ready technology today. But the NUC will say what? We don't trust that technology. Ask that person who is running a NUC, how many times have you had online courses? Have you been involved in an online course? He hasn't. But he's making policy on online education.
Thank you so much, Prof, once again. That's a wake-up call for us all. More questions are coming in. Prof would have to answer those questions in the chat box. So we all have to go back to our corners, come up with the strategies on what we need to do to move this country forward, as Prof has said. Now we are moving on, and the next speaker is Awa Ndukwe, who is a brand strategist and is also known for sharing inspirational strategies on various social media platforms.
Okay. Well, I really want to thank Cityscope Africa for having us here today, having me here today. Okay, and it's been a very, very awesome one for me because I've actually learned a lot from. I also want to appreciate Professor um, Magnus Amajiro for everything he said. I could relate with everything he was talking about, and it's quite unfortunate, but we have the brainiacs, we have the right set of minds to push this country forward. At least we have people like John Fatani for Cityscope Africa, and we have the young commissioner who is just 47, and we have other people, right? So there's still hope for Nigeria. By God's grace. Okay, so going with today's the theme for today and the program for today. Before I get started, I am Awa Ndukwe, a full representative of a typical Nigerian group and a typical Nigerian entrepreneur graduate. Okay, and when I say typical, I mean someone that understands the demography of Nigeria as a whole and knows the factors, both political. Okay. Yeah, I really want to apologize for that. Okay. So let me just run a recap. Like I was saying, I'm just a full representative of an average Nigerian youth, and she likes an average Nigerian citizen. And why I'm saying this is because I want everyone to know I'm a very practical person. There are a lot of things you must have read about branding, about business in books. But we should always know that there are two different demographics, two different economies, two different systems. And just like what Prof was saying, Professor Magnus, I am pretty sure that if he didn't, migrate, because Nigeria is a place with very beautiful and productive states, but the soil hasn't been, hasn't been a good foundation, to plant the right roots for this place to grow. But however, there are people, don't get me wrong, that are still pushing through even in the unfavorable system. And I want everyone listening to me out there, which I know are youths just like me, to know that look, the first thing first is the right mindset. If you have the right mindset, if you have the positivity, if you follow the right mentors, I'm not talking about Big Brother Nigeria, sorry, I'm talking about productive shows, books, mentors. You are going to take the right way for yourself. So not to go motivational, like the way a lot of people know me, so I would love to say that I just want everybody to feel relaxed. It's gonna be um, a very practical, discussion. It's gonna be open. I didn't come with any books. I didn't write. This is what I do every day, and I had to, change a lot of things, like going through the previous papers and knowing that my audience, from what I'm looking at here, are probably youths and people that are trying to take it to the next step. Now, first of all, what are SMEs? That's the first question you should ask yourself. Now, there are so many definitions of an SME, right? But I would that SMEs are businesses with revenues, with assets, or numbers of employees that fall below a certain level. And I need people to write one or two things probably as I'm talking, so that you could, take it back home. I know this is 10 minutes, sorry, so I can't do much. I'm just going to talk first for a few minutes. Things I could, capture. So, yeah, SMEs are businesses with revenue assets, employees below a certain level, and the criteria differ in different countries. We all know that. So the criteria for an SME in Nigeria might be different from, or will be different from the criteria of an SME in Europe. For Europe, the EU, the SMEs are, companies, organizations below 250 employees or 250 employees. But if you take this to United States, you find out that SMEs, you know, could even be companies that are up to 1,200, but their assets or their revenues are below a certain level. And well, if you bring about Nigeria with the analysis of those jobs, you find out that most of the jobs, I mean, I'm trying to add everything everybody has talked about or bring it into, one discussion or what I'm going to talk about. In Nigeria, where unfortunately speaking, we've not had the best support from the government, you realize that most people or most the economy has been the backbone of the economy in Nigeria mostly has been this SME. I would say 99%. I mean, I'm sure most people here are all working under an SME. Most companies in Nigeria are SMEs, if you know what I'm talking about. Because unfortunately speaking, well, this is how we find ourselves. We don't have a good system. And even in the United States, about 2018, around 99% of the companies were also SMEs. Now, I need you to understand what SMEs are. So, most people try to start a business or or businesses are even running at the moment in Nigeria, which should be the backbone of the economy, which should actually reduce poverty and unemployment and SMEs. Now, I'll be talking about, the effects of, branding, in expanding the business horizon of SMEs. Now, what is branding? So many definitions of branding. Now, branding is what you need to break through the noise as an SME, right? To stand out, to convert that customer to a loyal customer, to a brand evangelist, which most SMEs need. I mean, if you're just starting a business, oh, there are a lot of competitors, but you need to stand out. And when you stand out, you just don't want to stand out. You want to build loyalty. You want to build trust, right? You want to build equity. And branding is not negotiable. It's the oxygen needed for your business as an SME to stand up in a market filled with so much competition. I mean, most of the time you have an idea of a business, and by the time you want to jump into the business, you realize that a whole lot of people are doing the business. What makes you stand out? What do people what perspective do people have about your business? Or when they think about Cityscope Africa, what will I think about? Why would I even want to jump on Cityscope Africa? Why would I want to be here? Because I already have a perspective of Cityscope Africa, and I already have a perspective of who John Patterson is. There's a level of, there's an emotional loyalty, there's a kind of trust, there's an expectation, there's something I'm looking out for already. Okay? And if you, I don't know, can anybody hear me? Can I go ahead?
Yes, we can hear you, but you have 3 more minutes.
Okay. So what do SMEs face? Why is it that for some reason, SMEs are having issues with financing when they get started. And I'm actually going to state that because this is one of the issues SMEs have going on. They don't know how to fund their business. They don't know how to get funding, finance, and all that. And I'm going to ask you the question: if nobody knows about your business, if nobody has heard about your business, if nobody has trust in your business, I mean, why would I want to invest in Coca-Cola? Why would I want to give Coca-Cola the money? Or why would I want to? Why would you come and meet me to, to give you money, to expand your business? That's because I've heard about your business. Your business has a credibility, a level of credibility. It has a level of trust. And money will not disappear. If I go online to check about your business, I have a lot of information, facts that will give me, that and trust, to actually, invest in your business. So we have an issue whereby SMEs just focus on the daily activities of their business, the day-to-day activities, the perfection of their products. But at the end of the day, they tend to put branding at the end of their business strategy, not knowing that actually it should be to the beginning of the business strategy. Because the truth is, like I say, if you want to push, or if you want your SME, your business, to move or to scale to an international level, you need to have a level of awareness. You need to have built a level of trust. You need to have built a level of loyalty. People need to know about you. You need to have connected emotionally to your audience. You need to have a community around you. If you want to even get finance, what do I know about your business? So, like I said, branding goes a whole lot, and I'll have to keep on talking and talking about a whole lot of things.
We have 1 more minute, Mr. Presenter. 1 more minute. Thank you.
Yeah. So what I'm going to advise for SMEs that are just about to start and to scale most of the time is to focus much more, understand, on the effects of branding. And it's not that expensive, unlike what people say, because yes, a lot of people think, it's only the Coca-Colas or only the Toyotas or the Samsungs and all that do that. No. Even you as a little small medium enterprise should start thinking of, scaling or adding branding into your business.
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone. Thanks for listening. Thank you very much for attending the conference today. That's a very good presentation from Mr. Awa Ndukwe. I think the presenter will join us very shortly. What I want to tell us is to please put our question in the chat side there. Then you can, of course, answer your question as we go on. As you can see, we're really running behind time. And I think we really appreciate if we can move straight to the next speaker. And then from there, we can take the question, and then we can call on Mr. Awa Ndukwe to answer the question as soon as we have more time to do this. So, Mrs. Abiodun, you have the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. David. So we are moving on. So now we are moving on. We're moving on. Now I'm bringing up our Chief Technical Officer, Cityscope Africa Media Limited, the person of Kolade Ayorinde. Are you there, sir?
Hello, everyone. It has been a momentous day, I must tell you that. Today, we have discussed, shared, and learned about expanding horizons and scaling the orders of financing for small and medium enterprises. Of course, after the pandemic, we are all in the period of pandemic. This is unprecedented, as you all know. But I'm happy that you all have created time to attend this conference. Before I go further, I want to thank our honorable guest speaker, Honorable Shehu Fakorede, for his goodwill message. We hope that he arrives at his function safely. Our other speakers, I bow for you. I thank you a lot for taking this time to come and speak with us. I thank you for expanding our knowledge and providing the useful information you have brought to us today. And I believe our businesses will utilize this information both during this pandemic, after the pandemic, and whenever we are opportune as we run our businesses, I must say. At this point, I would like to recognize the role played by DevGrad organization. They are based in Brussels, and they gave us a tremendous support for this conference. I hope we can continue to collaborate with them in future events. Thank you, Mr. Sudade. We appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, it is no secret that the success of this conference is down to your participation. Yes, Professor Magnus mentioned that we had about 34 all the time. It's an average of 34 people at any time on this conference. Quite amazing, considering the fact that the notices, the preparation was short-lived, considering the fact that the pandemic really affects a lot of us. But I bow for you guys. I thank you, Dr. Vera from Ghana, Magnus from Uganda, my folks from Brussels, all the good people in Nigeria. Thank you very much for taking time to attend this conference. To my friends and colleagues at Cityscope Africa, I say a big thank you for your hard work in organizing this event. The Academy is indeed connecting young people, young professionals and entrepreneurs in Africa to converse and talk about business, lifestyle, and intercontinental building, etc. in our environment. Thank you so much. Before we switch off indeed, I'd like to share my screen. I would like to implore you to download Let's Go Nigeria app, an Afro-tourism initiative of Cityscope Africa Media. This app allows you to discover places in Nigeria before you travel. Please type in Let's Go Nigeria on Google Store and you get it. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you and I congratulate you on the success of today's conference. Long live Africa. Please take time to network with all the folks around, and I'm sure next year when we come around it will be physical, I hope, and we will have more fun. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, Biodun, for a very good work. Before we started networking, I think I've been begging for time for the of course the host and the moderator to give me just 2 minutes to appreciate everyone, and specifically to appreciate Professor Magnus. This is very important. What he's doing, and the reason for saying this, all the speakers already, so much respect for everyone, for the great work, for everything that we have done today is amazing. And thank you, Lord, Mr. Kolade and of course Mr. John, and for everyone here, well appreciated. And of course to Samuel Ayurende in Netherlands, in Ireland, and Dr. Vera, Mr. George, Kehinde, Wisdom, Olamide, Impact, Sakios, Shidi Okwala, Florence, all of you, thank you for your time for coming. And thank Professor Magnus once again. Then I want to
thank you so much everyone for coming. I hope you had a nice time networking with other people from various aspects of life. In my room, I just met some couple of new people, which makes it more interesting. So thank you all for coming to this year's conference, and we want you to follow us on all our social media platforms, Cityscope Africa. We are on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and on Twitter. We also want you to follow Let's Go Nigeria, which is the #1 Afro-tourism app now in Nigeria, where you can see very lovely places you can visit. Please download our app. Is on Google Play Store. Once you go on Google Play Store, you just type Let's Go Nigeria and you have the app to download. Thank you once again, everyone. Hope to see you another time.
And before we go, can you please also show your faces so that we can take a good picture of us?
It's time to smile for the camera.
All right.
Yeah, time to smile to the camera so that we can take a big shot of you. By the way, if you object to it, let us know, because the picture will be posted on the social media. it's very important for data protection to let you know that the picture will go on the social media. So let us know that the picture will be on the Facebook, on the Twitter. All right. Okay, a big smile to everyone. Thank you very much, everyone, and do have a nice weekend and stay safe. You can unmute yourself and you can discuss. You can talk with one another. The conference is over.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you.
Very much,
Thank you all. Thank you, Bro.
Bye.
Thank you, Abiodun. Thank you, Mr. Space. Thank you, Mr. Adiola Toriola. Kendi. Ifeanyi. We want a lot of people here. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, bye. Take care. Bye.
Kolade, thank you, bye. Bye, everyone. Bye.